Here we are, and welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. And this week, all three of us back together, going to catch up on a whole bunch of things. And I know we don't usually talk about things that are newsworthy, but a lot of news is happening in the entertainment world. And I'm going to ask my sisters to weigh in on it when we get into the show. In the meantime, Becky, good to see you. Lily, good to see you. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm good. You know, back home in Arlington after the summer away. Kids are back in school.
I heard you went to Costco today.
I went to Costco with my mother-in-law, who is like, I don't know, like, are there like, you know how there's green circles and blue squares and black diamonds at a ski hill? She can like ski the double black diamonds of Costco. She can
really.
She's a Costco expert, and she was so patient with me and so kind with me, you know, kind of pointing me towards things I should buy and this and that, not putting too much pressure, but gently just Jediing me through the whole thing until the very end when we go to check out. And you know, when you check out at Costco, you take the old cardboard boxes to load your stuff,
which is one of the funniest, coolest things that has been the same about Costco since it was created, was the using old garbage boxes to take your stuff out. And they're so much better than bags. Right. So much better. So I go over to the giant container where they have them, and I grab two and I bring them back. And at that point she was just like, no, absolutely not. No. She's like, you cannot be in charge of that. Please let me. You got the wrong ones?
I got the wrong ones. Wrong ones.
Well, which kind were they?
Well, I think I got the wrong shape for one. And then another one, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I didn't know what was wrong with them, but I got the wrong ones. So she got the right ones.
What are some of the highlights of what she got? Like
in the boxes,
mayonnaise?
I think.
Was there
no, because we're shopping for my house.
Large mayonnaise.
So large mayonnaise was not on the. You know what was really funny? This is one of my favorite bits. Leading up to the Costco trip, she talked for, I don't know, I'm going to say 10 minutes about buying pierogies at Costco.
She's Russian. It's a big deal for her, pierogies.
Why there's such a good lunch to give the children, and I should buy them. Then we get to Costco.
Now, does she saying this and saying Costco has great pierogies? Like, as a Russian, she has endorsed Costco's pierogies, or is she just looking for them?
Well, this was the confusion. She's insisting that I get these pierogies at Costco. We get there, and she's like, this is not the right brand. And I was like, oh, I guess they have a different brand at your Costco. She's like, no, I don't get my pierogies at Costco. And I'm like, wait a minute. So she's both telling me I must buy pierogies at Costco. She is not happy with the brand selection, but also admits she's never bought a Costco pierogi. So,
but does she make her own pierogies?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
I feel like that's the solution to this problem.
Yeah. So we got them, and we'll see. And we'll see. Now, we got them, but she's like, both insisted I buy them and is already disappointed that this is what I bought.
Who would you rather be at Costco with?
Not you.
Me or your mother-in-law? Wait, what's wrong with me? I'm so fun at Costco.
Because
I want to buy everything.
I'm going to end up coming home with like a gazebo.
Yes,
400
exactly.
pounds
I'm like, ooh, gazebo.
Candy bars.
My wife's getting so stressed just listening to us have this conversation, but we know she isn't because she's not listening to our show.
I mean, I did definitely walk through and text Vlad pictures of random appliances being like, do we need this air purifier? Do we need this dog vacuum?
Just the TVs alone. I used to go and just stare at those giant TVs.
Yeah.
Buy a 75-inch TV for $38.
Do they still do samples?
You want to know what the sample was?
They still do samples? I thought that they would have gotten rid of those.
Our Costco, we were there right when they opened. I think they do samples later in the day, but the only sample they had was just like milk. It was just like,
ew.
And it's like
shots of milk?
Well, it's like shelf stable milk, so it's just like room temperature milk.
That's the milk.
What kind of milk?
Shelf stable.
Like they sell them like the individual, like cow milk, individual, single, like to take to school.
Those are
No, like they come in like a juice box style container, and it was just like room temperature milk.
That's just like what milk is like.
Room temperature milk. Remember in the old days though, you'd go and you'd taste like a
have a whole meal
crostini with a cheese spread that you've never had before. Going with mom when I first. And also, let's also give a shout out to mom and what she calls Costco, which is club price
or price club.
Because in French in Montreal, Price Club was called Club Prix with an X, which mom then retranslated into English and called Club Price. And I remember her coming back with those giant things of corn pops, like the Canadian corn pops, the hard ones, the size
the good ones,
a briefcase. I mean, enormous. And then getting to go with her once in a while, I'll be like, ooh, shrimp cocktail. I'll have some. So,
but yeah, I mean, I think makes me sad.
Wouldn't you have so much fun with me?
I would have something, but what makes me sad is I feel like I always want to shop at Costco when I'm shopping for like a vacation house that's going to have 15 people in it. It's kind of depressing shopping for my house because my kids won't try anything fun, and then I just end up with jumbo bags of stuff that I have to finish that I don't want to finish, and so I can't like get.
What's the biggest item that you bought?
Yeah. Like, did you buy a coffin or a bed? I mean, a mattress? I hear, man, the mattresses there are supposedly amazing.
I think the heaviest item I bought was an 18-pack of jumbo-sized Topo Chicos. That was so heavy.
Nice. I'm going to get one of those.
The largest thing I bought was...
Like you should be able to order online. I would never go to a store and buy this.
You know what? Because the Costco's are jumbo bottles. It's like, they're bigger bottles. Lord knows kids like to buy stuff.
I went against, like, totally against type yesterday, and I had a tangerine ginger Topo Chico. That's like the opposite of
Lily, that sounds
character.
spicy.
All the flavors you don't want.
And it was amazing. Oh my goodness. Now I'm forever going to look for the tangerine ginger one that I got at the cafeteria in the Franklin Institute.
Topo Chico is...
I did again.
Topo Chico is a very serious bubbly water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first taste it,
flavored bubbly water, but it was the only one that they had, and I was like,
but the largest item is probably that jumbo super pack of toilet paper that lasts like 2 years. And I would say like the most exciting thing I bought, Lily, this one's for you. Shout out to Lily. Those like little Parmesan crisps, those like baked Parmesan chips that you get in your sweet green salad, but they're like so
you need like that of those.
I have
you know what?
Like
those are delicious,
bag.
but they taste so gross when they're like wrapped in kale.
They're so dusty.
Covered in kale. So, do you have an all-time favorite Costco memory thing from our childhood? Because for
Dad's
me,
cookies.
Dad's cookies.
That's it.
Becky, I think I'm gonna.
Box.
They're so expensive to order to the United States, but Becky, I'm gonna order us a box.
But you could order them to Ottawa, and my in-laws will bring them.
So I gotta wait till the next time they visit. They're here right now.
They bring my dog back and forth across the border.
Next time, tell your mother-in-law.
Oh, dipping one of those.
When she goes to Costco.
Dipping one of those Dad's cookies. Dipping one of those in a glass of cold milk.
Shelf-stable milk? Warm milk?
Shelf-stable milk. In a glass of cold milk. There's nothing better.
But do you also remember Mom would get, it was like this multi-pack of frozen chicken wings, and there was like the honey.
No.
Oh yeah, the honey barbecue.
The honey barbecue chicken wings.
In fact, I didn't know spicy chicken wings existed.
No, because we just eat the honey barbecue.
Because we just get the various sweet chicken wings, which are so good. Okay.
So good.
Let's get into some news, a little gossipy. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And the rule for this is you have to engage on it. You can't just say boring, I don't care. Okay? I need opinions. All right, because I'm talking about things here that I don't care about.
Chock full of
just for you guys. All right, the biggest news I think of, and again, this is not important news. The biggest news of the week that I saw, maybe we should do the news more often. People tell us if they want us to talk about the news. Ben Affleck, who recently was made fun of in the Deadpool movie by his ex-wife, Jennifer Garner, has now been kicked twice while he's down because apparently he and J-Lo broke up.
Not apparently. They're getting divorced.
And first there's this question, this like legal question of people with their prenup and all the money they made. Like the 2 years that they made money together, they obviously made money because they were married, because people were interested in them. So they should just split it, I think. That's number one.
Someone was saying that I read an article that was like, okay, now it's like taking apart like a corporation. Like it's a business that has to be like divided in half.
I mean, there's no way. There's no way their financial people would allow them to get married without having everything protected.
Super tied up in a bow. But Shai's right. The money that's made in these last 2 years, it must be very tightly.
Which one was he with first? J-Lo or Garner?
J-Lo, Garner, J-Lo.
And then was he married to J-Lo?
Never.
They were just in love. So, but there was this thing about them of a little bit of a fairy tale ending thing happening. Do we think this was sincere?
She wrote an entire album and made a movie about it.
Right.
The greatest love story never told.
But do we think
that's about? I thought that was her and herself. I didn't know that was about her and him.
No, it's her and him. And she had you brought me up the wrong she if you didn't want all the details.
Oh, no,
she has a book. Apparently, this is what also like caused some of the stress there. I don't know if this is true, but she had a book made of all their love letters back and forth. That their love letters from their first time together, I guess, and then now, 20 years later. She kept them. And has,
while she was married to both A-Rod and Mark Anthony.
Yeah, always had them. And
she was with A-Rod, right? She was with A-Rod?
A long time. Yeah. And of the love letters, made it into a book and was like, giving it to everyone on the film crew of her movie to read, sharing it with everyone. And there's I think it's even in the movie. I haven't seen the movie, but in the article it's he's a much more private person and was I don't need everybody. And they even called him Pen Affleck as opposed to Ben Affleck because he wrote so many love letters. He didn't like the nickname. So.
But how sad that would be, right? We all are thankfully in great marriages. Could you imagine you marry someone after all this time?
I was rooting for them.
No, but can you imagine the anxiety of you get married to someone, everybody's watching, you're back together after all these years, and less than 2 years in, it's not working, and you just have to be anxious and rich all the time?
I
mean,
can't buy me love, man. I don't
know. I don't know if I would. You know who I was rooting for in this? Jennifer
Garner. But Jennifer Garner, I've been rooting her for a long time. She came out on top of this a long time ago when she was driving him to rehab a few years ago. Everybody was she's
the grown up between the two of them.
And she's a saint and she's been so good to him. So
I imagine her, her character in the last season of Party Down as this super mature, nice person who's going to marry a real life Adam Scott.
You're saying you hope for her?
I'm rooting for her to be happy.
Yeah. I mean, she's a boyfriend. She's had a boyfriend for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't want to say anything bad about Ben Affleck. I don't know the guy, but I mean,
who will he end up with next? Who will she end up with next?
Does she J-Lo? Oh God. I feel bad for all these people.
I mean, I think J-Lo
but I'm sorry, they couldn't make it work? There's no therapist that they could go see? It's just really that bad? Guys, 5 seconds ago, this is the love of their life.
J-Lo will have many lovers, but will always... J-Lo will be married to J-Lo. I think she is her number one. I don't think you get to be that
and he will be married to Boston.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's just so powerful and famous and all these things that I just feel J-Lo's got to be married to J-Lo. And,
that's sad. Sad.
Is it? I mean,
yes, because I feel
celebrating. I celebrate her,
I don't believe that she uses her skincare line. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
She must have her face like
Well, no,
lasered
and
off
maybe
every
it goes
3 months.
over the real stuff that she uses.
Right. Is there some fan fiction out there where like Ben Affleck can never be happy because he's really in love with Matt Damon?
Because he's really in love with Matt Damon?
I'm positive.
I'm
that's
sure
not
there's
true.
fan fiction about that, but I don't know if that's right.
I don't know. I'm sad for them. Like, I'm sad for them because...
Does he, when he leaves the house, do you think he goes and he moves in with Matt Damon? Or his brother?
No, he's renting a house.
Oh, okay. Well, he's on top of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Next,
He's got an Airbnb.
next big piece of news. Star Wars: The Acolyte
This is the greatest I Told You show ever.
was canceled.
Yeah. No shit.
I
For
liked
like a
it.
year. You've been trying to get me to watch it. Like, imagine if I invested.
I know, now I can never...
I was sitting with Becky before she's about to like leave the next day to come from Spain, like to fly back home. And she's sitting with me, she's like, what should I download? She's like, should I do Star Wars Acolyte? I was like, I almost slapped her across the face. I was like, absolutely not. Get a hold of yourself, woman.
Hey, but here's the thing. I mean, are you surprised? But isn't Disney cutting like all of their, like none of their stuff is getting renewed. None of like their
It seems that
shows.
since Iger came back, he's cleaning up the mess there a little bit.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of stuff got greenlit, and Iger's like, we're not Netflix.
But there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I guess it's really hard to make a show, period, especially a show where each episode has a bigger budget than most movies.
I mean, they're so expensive and they require such like each episode is basically a movie. But does that mean Andor's not coming back either?
No. Andor, so the ones that people really like, so that is the sort of fair part. I mean, people are complaining about Acolyte being review bombed and all of that, but there are genuine issues with Acolyte that were objective, that had nothing to do with those type of stupid complaints by the incels. But there was enough cool in it that I would love to see more. But it was essentially all new characters, so that's a big deal. Even Andor, which is a pretty low key show, right, which is like low key, no force, is using Diego Luna, who is in a major blockbuster Star Wars story. So it's not like you're using someone totally unknown. And you're also and then similarly with Ahsoka, that's a developed fan favorite character over decades that started in animation but has a huge audience built into it. And then so I kind of see where maybe they're a little concerned, but I also think it's one of those things that they committed to it and tightened it up. They could have maybe done more with it, but the big mistake I think they did is they heavily tied it to the rest of Star Wars. This like it ends with this like spoiler alert, like dark side of the Force love sexy couple going off into the sunset together. Manny Jacinto and the other character, one of the two twins.
Are people going to be really mad that Manny Jacinto's show was canceled? Because people were so angry when he was cut out of Top Gun. Do you remember the backlash?
I love him. I think they could have done something cool. I think it was odd to take unknown characters in a show and try to make them so important. It would have been nice to have made this truly its own microcosm in the Star Wars world. The other thing that my big pitch is, I want to see a Great Escape or a heist show that is all about the bad guys cloning the Emperor from their perspective, so that we can both justify Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker and give all the people who want to like root for the dark side the thing that they always want. They always want it to be darker. Make it dark.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so what does this mean for Star Wars? What lessons have they learned, Becky?
Stick to the core story.
So some people are like lamenting
fan
that.
Originals. You know? I mean, I don't think they've learned enough lessons yet to know what to do next. They seem to be really struggling with owning this property and how to leverage it best. Is it true though that isn't Daisy Ridley coming back to do something else?
Oh yeah, they're making another movie
right?
with her. I'm very excited.
Right, they're making another movie with her, and like that's what I'm thinking. I think like that's what they should be doing. Like sticking with the characters that are like the blockbuster ones. Like I don't need I don't need more like Mandalorian.
Well, they're making a Mandalorian movie.
Yeah, but if you don't see his face, no one's gonna want to fucking see it. Okay? I'm sorry. Nobody wants to go see Pedro Pascal and not see his face. He is right. It's like, then don't.
They did confirm he's going to be in the movie, which there's been questions to whether or not he's been in the show all these years.
Like make it animated so we don't care if we see his face, or don't cast him, or like just. But like if you're going to be so strict about the rules, then be smarter about your casting.
Fair enough. And also, it was funny to find out that half the Mandalorians don't take off their helmets. Right? I mean, half of the Mandalorians do take off their helmets. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, last but not least in our news segment here, which is really the bulk of today's show, which is Blake Lively.
Oh, boy.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Sisterhood.
Who had a movie coming out where the trailer, the beginning of the trailer, made me think it was like that movie Joy with Jennifer Lawrence, like an entrepreneur story. But it's really like a heavy movie about an abusive relationship.
Isn't it? Wouldn't
yeah, because it starts off with Lily
wouldn't
Bloom.
know from her interviews.
Well, okay, so that's part of the controversy. But then people are digging in even more and bringing up bad things she said a long time ago, which, again, if she said bad things, she can answer for them.
We love to obsess over someone and then rip them apart. Let's start with that. Okay, I have such a hot take, though, but I'm genuinely afraid to say it.
Oh, I think I actually...
I think I've told you my theory.
No, I don't know what your hot take is.
I'm a little bit afraid.
But
I'm going to tell you mine. But you know who I blame?
Oh, I know who you blame, but don't say her name.
I'm afraid to say it because they're going to come for me.
No, but how about this? Let me phrase it this way. I think going after Blake Lively in this context, which is not going after Blake Lively in the Ryan Reynolds context. In the Ryan Reynolds context, in the Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, everybody loves her. But I think this is a proxy war against Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
I think people are so afraid to go after Taylor Swift. So people are like, ooh, this friend of hers did this. But I think it's also idiotic. Taylor Swift's got a lot of friends that say terrible things.
I had like a
Blake Lively is not a bad person.
No, but I had like a different perspective on it. I don't think that's genius, a proxy war against Taylor Swift. I was going to frame it a different way. I was going to say, I blame Taylor Swift.
Oh, you're blaming her.
Because I think Taylor Swift is so all powerful and people are so afraid of her that basically two things happen. One is the people who are in her direct circle, I think, feel a little bit like they have permission to do whatever they want because they're like, you can't come after me. I'm one of Taylor Swift's besties.
Oh, so they're like untouchables.
So one. Two, I think the way that Taylor Swift, the way that she behaves and her fan behaves, and by she behaves, I mean like, like her... There's a bit of like a mean girl aspect to the way that she writes her.
But are people coming to defend her?
What?
Are the Swifties? I mean, Taylor brought her to her party.
I'm going to give you an example.
Rhode Island for the weekend to protect her.
Okay, this is a different pop culture moment. Remember how Simone Biles called out that gymnast who talked badly about like the USA gymnastics team, right? As like not having enough work ethic. And then the Simone Biles fan base went after that gymnast, like viciously destroying this woman on social media. And she was like, please just leave me alone. Right.
She got like death threats and stuff.
Yeah. And then Simone Biles, like, she just like kept doubling down on like talking shit about this gymnast as her fans are like viciously attacking her. To me, that to me, Simone Biles thinks she has permission to behave that way because Taylor Swift behaves that way. Because when the Swifties go after someone, Taylor Swift doesn't have shit to say about it.
So Taylor
she lets them work themselves up into a frenzy. Like
Taylor Swift throws this party in Rhode Island this weekend, and Blake is there, I believe. Is this just like secretly a party to make Blake feel better and like protect her and make sure everybody knows?
No, but I think they're genuinely friends. Now, again, I want to say...
They're genuinely friends, but it could be like a reminder.
I'm giving you my pop culture analysis. I am not weighing in on Blake Lively or her interviews or her Deadpool stuff or her husband getting involved. Like, I don't actually care about it.
What is that guy's name?
I don't know. I don't know who that guy is.
I'm not like
That's my answer.
Or he has the best crisis PR team of all time.
Like, I don't care if whatever.
Those guys.
Like, I just feel like people are so upset. They're so upset because an actor in an interview wasn't perfectly nice. But you know what? I guess that means they've never worked in this industry.
Yeah, shocker.
You know what? People aren't perfectly.
Kieran Diol, the comedian who I've seen live, is very funny. She had a very good bit about this. I recommend checking it out on her.
Yeah, I do. But you can dig up dirt and you can on anyone anytime. I don't think that's the interesting story. I think Taylor Swift is an interesting story.
Well, so I think that's part. But that's interesting is that here's Blake Lively.
I like your thing. It's a proxy war on Taylor Swift, and mine is that
people. It's like the Russians. It's like the Russians in the United States having a war in another country to test out the weapons, right? It's like, we want to see what happens if we...
But like, Blake Lively's pretty powerful between Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds. I mean, it's like...
Well, there's a lot of very similar stuff to diplomacy here. Her being invited to Rhode Island, to me, that also shows Taylor is a loyal friend.
Oh, and Taylor's a loyal friend. But Taylor doesn't care what noise is being made.
She's a very eclectic group of friends. Some of them seem like great people and some of them seem like monsters, but she is loyal to them and I respect that. Okay.
Sure.
Now let's talk about what we're watching. I'm watching some things. Number one, I went to see Anna Roisman from our episode earlier this week, who's also on the Big Wigs podcast.
Oh my God. Have you...
Went to see her live show Impressionista. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, Anna Roisman.
I'm huge fan.
So nice, but as
her
amazing
videos that she posted about her trip to Spain, pretending to be Hilaria Baldwin in Spain.
So I didn't know going into this. Well, until the drive to New York that day, I had to ask Allie what all of this Hilaria Baldwin stuff was, and I said, "Is she just making fun of?"
Oh my God, I do not know that.
I didn't know she was fake Spanish.
It's amazing, Shai. It's one of the best grifts of like the entire history of Hollywood. It's amazing.
It's very, very, very funny. The show was great. She was great, and I also got to meet the legendary Jared Hack. I took a selfie with him just for you guys.
Yeah, I love him. It's great.
I saw Alien Romulus. I hope you guys see it so we can break it down and do like a deep dive. Very, very cool alien movie.
I want to see that.
All the accolades it's getting is very, very, very worth it. I fit it somewhere in the middle, but amongst the higher quality alien movies. So it's not as good as the first one or the second one. And I think Prometheus is pretty awesome. I think it comes in right under Prometheus as like the 4th or 5th out of 10, which is solid, but that's only because I really love those other ones. This one was very good. And I think for me, I'm just excited when there's a good alien movie and people are into Alien, that means we're getting more Alien. It's kind of how I feel about Star Wars when everybody likes something in Star Wars. How about that? And then last but not least, my biggest recommendation in a long time, I want to thank our friend Jeannie, is Sanctuary, a Japanese drama series on Netflix about sumo wrestling. It's a little bit like Kingdom or Friday Night Lights, but about the sumo.
It's the Friday Night Lights of sumo wrestling?
It is. It's the Friday Night Lights of sumo wrestling. It takes, I read a few reviews of it now that it's done, and it does take a couple of episodes to get into it, partially because the main character, they sell him very, very low at the beginning so that you can really grow to appreciate him as the show develops. And so I think it was amazing. I got very misty towards the end of the last episode, and I highly recommend the show. The acting's fantastic. The physical things what's funny is I read that real sumo wrestlers were like, ugh, this was embarrassing. It made it look like they're so weak. I watched this show and I got anxiety by how much these actors had to train.
You and I had a whole conversation about like, what are the SAG rules on these sets? Because it looks very dangerous. Some of the physical stuff you guys are doing.
The actors trained for multiple years And some of them were actual professional sumo wrestlers. Some of them were fighters. Some of them were just actors. Anyways, just a fantastic, fantastic show. I have no idea if it even supposed to have a second season. But it, there's obviously more of the story.
The first season end like in a way that it may not, like The Bear?
The first season ends in a way like the first season of The Bear ends, or the second
they
season
could have had a second
ends.
season, or
like they could artistically say this is the end, leave the rest to your imagination, or there could be an incredible epic second season where they explore different characters, where you explore. I think it's made for there to be more. There must have to be more. But just the physical demands of doing this show, I don't know how these guys will be able to do this. Like, they better make this show right away, because I can't imagine making this 2 years after I got in the shape I needed to get in to be in that show. I mean, you have these 400, 500-pound guys doing squats, walking up the sides of super steep hills with weights, like all the slapping each other in the face. I watched an interview with one of the main sumo characters, who was himself a professional sumo wrestler for 12 years. And there's a scene where he bludgeons another guy, and he was talking about how he had to go soft in that scene, because if he did it at real power, he would have like killed the guy. But the scene itself looks so brutal that I'm like, whoa. Anyways, I can't recommend Sanctuary enough.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite. I can't stop thinking about it. It's one of my favorite shows I've seen. It's on Netflix.
Netflix. Oh, wow.
Netflix crushes it with the non-English language shows.
Yeah.
You do.
So, yeah, incredible. All right, Lily, what have you been watching?
Well, we got like a bunch of summer
Oh, sorry.
stuff.
I'll just say, watching Bodkin, and I love all the actors, and I love the characters. I can't understand what's happening.
I ended up actually giving up after the third episode.
Well, that's how Allie and I feel, but we also want to get to the end. But I love all the actors, and I like the general world, but I can't understand what's happening.
I know. Yeah, I couldn't keep track.
There's
There's too many people that died or didn't die.
There's so many people, and I feel like all of the a lot of the characters really look alike, and I can't tell them apart, except for like your three main characters.
Only in a show that takes place in Ireland can you get away with saying that and not seem like a monster, just so you know. No,
sorry, because it takes place in Ireland. I can't really tell the Irish men apart in the show. It's really true. Maybe they have a beard or don't have a beard, but it's like...
Allie last night was like, how much more of this is there? I just want to know what happened.
That's pretty funny. Well, we watched Beverly Hills Cop, which we never talked about.
The new one.
So, yeah.
What'd you think?
It was okay. I wish there was more Eddie Murphy. Like, I didn't
just
need
want
Eddie
more
Murphy
Eddie Murphy
being... Yeah, like, I didn't need Eddie Murphy being, like sad and, like, not, like, his jokes aren't funny anymore. I'm like, no, he's so funny.
That's what I think that was...
He was like, oh, like, it doesn't hold up, my humor from the 80s. And I'm like, no, you're Eddie Murphy. I will watch you do the hotel bit 100 times. Go right ahead.
I agree.
So, like, that, and I also thought, like, once Becky was like, why didn't Issa Rae play his daughter? I was like, oh, fuck. No, I can't watch this. Like, I was imagining, I guess, like, because no one should be as, like, it'd be...
Like, who could match him? And I feel like...
And I guess...
Oh, someone who has the comedy prowess to...
Yes, and I get that the daughter was, like, a super straight... She was a great... She did a great job. She was a great actor.
I thought the acting in general was very good in the
Everybody was very good. I just, was like missing a little bit more like wild Eddie Murphy.
Like when you think about what makes the Beverly Hills Cop movies unique, why do they stand apart? Why do they stand the test of time? Right? It's because of all the scenes where he's conning people. So he's a cop, like he's a con artist. Yeah. And
I wasn't always a policeman, right? Like I fractured a rule.
Right. And as soon as they started stripping that out, and he's either people don't buy it, or he's too tired. You're like, but that's the magic.
I mean, it is funny when he's like, "Oh, just give me the room," because like, obviously he can afford it. That is funny. But like,
when they say how much money it is, and he's like, "Oh,
just give me the key. Like, just give me. I just want to go to room tired." Like, I get that, but
if you did that once,
you're right. There's a scene in Beverly Hills Cop 2. The entire Johnny Wishbone sequence. I don't know if you've watched it recently, where he's like, "I'm Johnny Wishbone from the island of St. Croix."
Yeah.
And you just think my name and I appear.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times Thomas Ost, my neighbor, used to do that bit and how just hilarious I think it is. I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't think you remember the third one very much. I think you should go back and watch the third one, which is
There's
the one
a
that takes
third
place.
one. This isn't the third one.
This is the fourth
This is
one.
the
There's
fourth.
the third one
Oh, it's
has
a real
no
Die Hard situation.
has no Taggart, and it takes place in an amusement park like a Disney World.
Oh yeah. I've seen that one a bunch of times.
Yeah, that one I've seen.
I actually like the whole thing of it taking place in a Disney World, but it's not like that. I mean, I thought this was fine. I could see more and more.
Sometimes I wonder how much time did we have on our hands as kids?
No, there just wasn't a lot of other stuff to do.
There wasn't a lot of options. And what you had on video is what you just watched over and over.
Over and over and over
I've seen
again.
Terminator 2 70 times.
The
I don't know, we had to
VHSs
keep
of
it.
Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 back to back on the same VHS that I taped off the TV. I didn't know, actually, when I showed my kids the movie, I actually don't know if I had ever seen the versions with all of the F words. And
God,
like
that's so
slurs and
funny.
everything. I was like, whoa, this movie's
But
really R-rated.
I think what this movie has told us is that like we need more Eddie Murphy.
We need
he's
more
still
Eddie.
alive. We have the privilege that he is still alive. He should be churning. I just want him to churn out movies. Like be the Nicolas Cage of comedy. Make us more movies.
But I don't think that's his thing. I think he's very rich. I think he raised,
Got, like,
he's
10
just 10 kids.
He's busy. But
he
like,
does what he-
I wouldn't like.
But
But
also
also, daycare. Like, I just need just want more. He's so special.
Also,
But I wanna
remember,
go and, like,
he was
watch a lot of
nominated for an
movies.
Oscar for Green Dreamgirls. He's also very talented.
No, but I'm saying there's a lot of Eddie
incredible.
Murphy movies I never saw because I was at that like awkward age that I can now watch with my kids, like Nutty
Coming to
Professor and
America.
Dr. Dolittle and like.
But have you watched Trading Places or either of the 48 Hours
of
movies?
course I've seen
recently.
Yes.
Don't watch those with your kids. They're
Trading
so
Places I've seen kind of recently.
I see Trading Places on a regular basis.
In the last 10 years I've seen it.
Nothing about that movie could continue to be made today. And I was just book on taping this Chuck Klosterman book about the 90s, which talks a lot about experiencing things then versus looking through the
You were
lens of
listening to
now.
it. I thought you were like recording it. And
No,
I was
I don't know how to say it because I didn't read it.
I was listening to an audiobook.
Okay, well, anyways. All right, so what else are you listening to? Or watching?
Okay, watching. So that was one I didn't want to not mention. I started Fallout, which is a lot of fun.
Oh,
Becky's been recommending.
I
for a while.
started it, and then I tried to watch it with the kids and realized it was not for kids.
Not for
kids.
children.
Not for
It's
kids.
really dark.
So maybe I'll go back
It's
to
like
it.
a happier Walking Dead, so that's like fun.
Yeah.
Is it
It's much
happier?
more-
Because
Yeah, it's funnier.
I hope it is.
It's
I wouldn't say
definitely light.
happier. It's lighter. It's funnier.
But
It's a bit goofier.
the
makes
girl
fun of
main-
itself fun.
The woman main character is she's great and and Walton Goggins his character by the end.
You had me at Walton Goggins, and then
I mean, he's amazing. That whole
and
opening
she's in
sequence
Yellow
is incredible.
Jackets. Shy, the main girl
Yes.
from Yellow Jackets.
I watched
she's
the
great.
first season of that.
She's great. And then I have one more. The last episode of Lady in the Lake. With
that looks
Natalie
good.
Portman
Oh yeah,
and
that
Brett
looks
Gelman.
more heavy than I love everybody in
heavy.
that. How is it?
It's very well done. You've got what's his name from The Wire? Barkley? Is that the bad guy? One of the
I haven't seen The Wire yet.
Oh, God, Shy, please. Anyways, one of the guys from The Wire is in it. It's great. Brett Gelman, Natalie Portman, and the woman that plays this woman Cleo, and it's fantastic. The production is it's like watching every episode is like watching a movie, and it's I want to say it's like created, written by and directed by a lot of it is directed by sounds like an Israeli person. There's definitely a lot of Jewish elements to it, and like Black history elements to it, and it's I'm not. It's not like the best thing I've ever seen. I'm glad to be watching it. Is that a weird way to say it? Watching Natalie Portman is just such a trip. Like she's so good, and everybody's so good in it that I'm hooked and I'm interested. But there's a lot of like weird sort of like dream sequences you kind of have to get through, artistic dream sequences in them because she's like having a nervous breakdown. But she's also solving 2 crimes, Natalie Portman.
So it's a mystery.
It's a mystery, yeah. It's a mystery that we, the audience, know the
What's it on?
Apple Plus.
Prestige. Very prestige.
Yeah, and she's excellent, obviously. And then it was crazy that she could play without like almost any difference in makeup, maybe just her hair. A high school student, a young woman like getting married, and then like a woman in her 40s with a teenager, and almost nothing changes, and you believe it every time. It's wild. She's timeless.
I just saw Heat again, and she was in that.
She's so good. And then I watched on the plane Meet Cute, which Kaylee Cuoco, who you love, and Pete Davidson. It's like a rom-com, but it's also about suicide, which I didn't see coming. So that was actually better than I expected. It was cool. It was a cool movie. And he's really good in it. He's a good actor. And it's just the two of them in the movie. And it's kind of like sad, but it's good. It's good. And it's got some funny stuff, but it's a good plane movie. And I tried to watch Space Cadet with Emma Roberts, which I feel like is a perfect movie for Jai. I could not. I was watching that on a plane and I had to turn it off. Jose's sitting next to me and he just looks at me and he's like, what are you doing with your life? And I was like, fine. And I closed the iPad. I was like, fine. He was like, no, this looks really bad.
That is very fun.
So that's all I got for you.
What about you, Beck?
I finally watched most of, God, what's it called? Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I almost called it Star Wars Frozen Ghosts, which I might as well have, because I kept falling asleep and then I watched it on the plane. I kept falling asleep and waking up and I'm like, what's happening? And then Miri, who's sitting next to me, goes, Mommy, that ghost eyes are really scary. Is it real? And I was like, So
I liked Frozen Empire. I don't remember what happened, but I liked it.
I liked it, but I put it this way. I fell asleep and then I was like, I don't feel like I need to go back and finish it. I got enough of the gist.
They make it.
But I liked it. But I've done that with a lot of movies where I start it, I don't have time to finish it, and then like 3 weeks later. So I just finally finished the last 20 minutes of Argyle. That took me
I like that movie.
Months to watch. But I was like,
that's a long movie.
That took me not like 3 months to watch. 100%.
Not
so
every movie needs to be watched in one sitting. Tonight? Go ahead.
Oh, I know what you're doing tonight. Okay. And then I did watch on the plane, I watched Jackpot, which was the John Cena and Awkwafina movie with Simu Liu. And I thought it was, I think it's a great version of a sort of, action, comedy, violent movie, but one you could actually watch probably with younger kids and teens, because it's slapstick violence, not like hardcore, like murdering a bunch of people, which is fun to see.
My thing about that movie, and my kids identified this as well before I did, the thing that it was missing was once they finally revealed John Cena's backstory.
Oh, I didn't see it. Don't ruin it.
No, I'm just going to say how it wasn't that someone in his family wasn't killed in the jackpot or wasn't themselves a jackpot killer was a real missed opportunity.
Yeah. But he had his other reasons for doing it.
He had his other reasons, but they were more generic than I wanted them to be, considering how
you may not want to see the movie.
His character.
No, I don't think
he's great.
Like I think
and she's great.
Down to he's great, she's great, and Simu Liu's great, and so you're watching it because those three are so enjoyable to watch. And what I particularly loved is that in Shang-Chi, you have Awkwafina and Simu Liu as best friends. And in this, it's really funny to see them as like rivals, like enemies. And I think they are so funny together. And John Cena's hilarious.
And Paul Feig knows how to make a funny movie.
I think that's he knows how to make something funny. And he
appeared at the end, right? He walks in. He has a cameo right at the end, I think.
I know. It's again, saw it on the plane.
All right. Well, with all that being said, it's great to see you both. Love you.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Happy watching. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Friday Night Movie, the sibling rivalry and pop culture podcast. Join the Friday Night Movie family by following @FryNightMovie on all of the socials and visiting our website, FryNightMovie.com. Our theme song is by What Does It Eat? And make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.